Good morning and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Bob Martin. I'm the President and CEO of the Imagine America Foundation. I want to welcome all of our visitors to our fourth year of the IAF Career College Exposition webinar series, where we have now produced and distributed more than 150 webinars like today's show, with our total viewers and listeners now surpassing 5,000 local educators and counselors. To our continuing listeners, thank you very much for your continued support. We really appreciate it. To our new listeners, welcome. We think you're going to enjoy today's session. I'm very excited about today's career topic. Is the college degree the only ticket to success? Sponsored by Universal Technical Institutes, or UTI. UTI is this country's leading provider of high-quality, career-focused education at 18 locations nationwide. UTI is also a 24-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs, having provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 11,300 enrolling Imagine America students just since 2016. Without taking valuable time from our presenter, let me refer any and all inquiries about the Imagine America Foundation to our website, www.imagine-america.org. Since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains the leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a never-ending, serious shortage in certified technicians. We hear from employers in virtually all sections of the country desperately looking for qualified employees. We simply need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation is Universal Technical Institute, or UTI. Joining us today to discuss in detail the looming technician shortage and how UTI is helping meet this need is Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle is a nationally recognized expert in this area with an extensive K-12 background. But before I turn the program over to Dr. Coyle, let me very quickly go over today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum, including questions and answers. Once we finish these remarks, we're going to move directly into today's presentation. All participants can submit questions while the presentation is in session via the Q&A feature in this Zoom meeting. At the end of the presentation, I will then present any questions offered by the participants. We'll address as many questions as possible and provide written responses and follow-up emails. We will have a hard close at 10:30 a.m. So without taking any more time out of today's presentation, let me turn the session over to Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Bob, for that nice introduction. And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Merry Christmas. I'm excited about today's presentation, so let's just jump right into it. You know, there's definitely a movement in this country today to learn more about CTE STEM career pathways. We're seeing that change. You know, I've been doing this now, I was thinking the other day, for almost 8 years. And I've seen quite a difference in the change of attitudes among educators towards STEM pathways that we weren't seeing earlier. And I think this is something, as Bob alluded to, we're just not doing enough to make this happen. And so we have to look for alternatives to traditional education. For years, we've just been college, 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 and we just know that's not what all of your students are looking for. You know, when you deal with your students, you're dealing with the Gen Z students. These Gen Z students, they're different, aren't they? Yes, they are. They want things now. They want things in the present. They're not emailers. They're not, they're not even big on communication that much. They're Instagrammers. They're texters. You know, they're Snapchatters. Those kind of things. That's how they work. You know, so many times we think, oh, these kids are lazy or whatever. No, they just learn differently. They do things differently than we do. You know, and your Gen Z, one of the things, they value education, but they're just not about going to school 4, 5, 6 years. It's just not part of their DNA. Some of them it is, but for a large portion of them, they want something quicker. They know they need the education, and they want to make money. That's for sure too. But they're just looking for an alternative way to get the education that they need to excel in their career. 85% of young people today, they value a skilled trades career, but only 16% are very likely to consider such a career. This is a survey done by Stanley Black and Decker. And when you look at that, you say, well, how could there be such a discrepancy between 85 and 16? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one is they don't realize the money that can be made. They think in terms of, as many educators do, like these are hobbies. There's stuff you can do in part-time, that kind of thing. That's just not true. They don't realize that these are STEM skilled trades. They think building a house, does that require STEM? Well, absolutely it does. Or when you're working on a car or working on a motorcycle or welding, whatever the case may be, you need those STEM skills. And then finally, the underrepresentation of women in this industry plays a huge role. As Bob, once again, I keep alluding to what he said there about, we're not doing enough. And one of the areas we're not doing enough is getting women involved. I just came from Phoenix, Arizona, where I was involved in the Women in STEM out there. We had over 100 girls. We've been doing this now for 3 years. And I'll talk more about that later, about how we're trying to get more females involved in STEM careers. So the old adage, you must go to college in order to get a good job. That started clear back in 1971, Griggs versus Duke Power and Energy. Back at that time, Griggs sued, saying that, hey, these aptitude tests, these tests that employers would give, they're unconstitutional because people all have different backgrounds, different experiences, so they're not fair. So a lawsuit ensued, and Duke Power and Energy said, well, okay, we threw these out. So what are we going to use for future employees? We'll use a bachelor's degree. If you have a bachelor's degree, you're automatically qualified. You're automatically smart. You're automatically fit to do whatever it is by having that bachelor's degree. And we know that just doesn't work anymore today, as maybe it did back then. And but like I said, clear back in 1971, and it's still going on to this day. I always like to look at education, the old smart versus the new smart. So what's the difference? Well, in the old smart, our goal was to get into the best college possible, the best school out there. And how do you do that? You get a good education. You take all the hard subjects, you take all the weighted courses, you help every little old man, a little old lady across the street, because that's going to look good on your resume. You're going to do community work and all this, so I look good. So you can get into the best school out there. Well, what is the best school? Well, we used to think, these schools, and they still do, they'll go, well, we're number one in journalism. We're number 2 in law or whatever. Well, says who? When we think about, getting in the best school, we have to think in terms of what is the best school for that student rather than what is the best school overall. And we know the old smart just doesn't work anymore because they go off to this so-called best school. They get a degree, they come out and say, here I am, world hire me, and just isn't working. They're not getting hired. So then we move forward to the new smart, where we focus on a good career, focus on what students are good at. And we start this clear back in the upper elementary, middle school area, where we start showing them what career options are available to them. And then when they move into high school, we have presenters come in. I hope that you're having presenters come into your school. That's one of the things that we do at UTI. We're in over 10,000 high schools a year. And we come in and we do these workshops. They're not UTI infomercials. We don't pretend to be that. What we're looking for is ways to get to the students to show them what's available to them. We're just supporting what you're already doing. It's just good sometimes to have a third party come in and do that. So we talk to them about what are some good pathways. And we also show them pathways that they don't even know exist. Like, for instance, CNC. Many of you may not even know what CNC stands for, and your students don't. Computer numerical control. And then we have other occupations, other careers like industrial maintenance and non-destructive testing that kids don't even know exists. So we want to show them what's out there available. And then we try to get industry involved. We do like industry days at dealerships where we invite the student and their parents in and also educators so they can see what a dealership is like nowadays, because it's so much different than back when they were growing up. We have to we have to educate parents on what's out there available to them. And then when they come out of school, they have real skills, they have real experiences that they can take to work with them as they get hired into their new career. I'm sure you recognize this guy on here, Mike Rowe, America's Dirtiest Jobs. I love the quote: "Not every child will become a lawyer or a doctor. Teach your kids that it is okay to work with your hands and build cool stuff." That's a very elementary way to put it, but it's the truth. The more students are enrolled in certificate and associate degree programs than in bachelor degree programs. You may think as educators that your students are going off and getting that bachelor's degree. No, they're not. They're getting certification. They're getting competency-based credentials. And we have to remember that not all kids want to be lawyers or doctors, or that they don't. They have a different idea of what a career pathway is for them. And we as educators have to support that rather than to dispel it. We have to encourage them. We have to show them how you're going to get there, because they're going to go anyway, one way or the other. It's just better if we as educators will help them as much as we possibly can. I love this slide: employer versus student perception. The employers, we took a number of different topics. First one, professionalism, work ethic. The employer saw the employee at a 42.5% proficiency, pretty low. But the employee saw themselves at almost 90%, pretty high, thought a lot of themselves. Oral and written communications, the employer saw them at 41.6%. They saw themselves at almost 80%, 79.4%. Once again, quite a discrepancy. So why is there a huge difference here? Well, I think it goes back to when kids are younger, they're first growing up and they're getting involved in activities. We don't let kids fail. We it's just awful. We can't let them fail, and that's how they learn. Every kid gets a medal, a trophy, a ribbon. Every kid's told they're great and they're wonderful. Then they get out into the real world and they find out that they weren't as good at that as they had been told they were. So what I'm submitting to you as educators is it's okay to let kids fail. That's how they learn, so they get better. That's how you and I learned, and that's how they're going to learn too. So I just think this is a very good study, because it really shows a glaring difference in what employers and employees think. The path to success looks different for everyone. Almost half of the college graduates walking on the earth today have a degree they're not using or they didn't need. It's pretty sad when you think about all the time, the energy, the money they put into this, and we have to wake up to that these kids are walking around with degrees that we forced them into, and then come to find out they didn't need them anyway. Think about how that makes that student feel. So we have to do a better job at career readiness and career pathways to get these kids ready for their future careers that they're going to be successful at. There's one word that should stand out on this slide for you, and that's the word essential, because these areas are all essential to our life. You think about it, we teach all these, but that's not why they're essential. They're essential because think of your life without them in it. Now you might say, aircraft mechanic, avionics technician, no, that's really not all that important to me. Well, maybe it's not to you, but it sure is to me, where I fly thousands and thousands of miles each year, flying to different counselor events and CTE events and national events. Dude, those are very important to me. Or you might look and say, a plumber, is that really essential? Well, not until the toilet won't flush. Then all of a sudden that's your BFF. So these are all essential to our lives. And we have a shortage in all of these areas. But these are all areas that pay very well, and they're actively seeking technicians to come to work in all of these areas. And these could be areas that your students are looking for, but they don't know about them. As I mentioned earlier, the NDT, non-destructive testing, power generation, a millwright. They may not know what these are. And so it's up to us as educators to show them what's out there available to them, because it may be a career pathway that they're looking for. They just didn't know that it was available to them. The demand for technicians and welders continues to grow. Over 1.7 million technicians are going to be needed by 2031. We're getting ready to turn over a new year into 2024. So we're looking at 7 years. That's how many technicians are going to be needed. And you see a 1.7 million plus. We're not even really sure yet. I heard once that 80% of the careers that are available, that will be available in 2030 are not here now. They're going to pop up because of the way our technology is evolving, the way our economy is evolving. Now, I told you about women in STEM and what we're trying to do. We started this program. We're now in our 3rd year. Our mantra is you can't be what you can't see. Thinking about these girls, they don't have any role models to look up to. Think about it yourself. When's the last time you saw a female welder, a female auto technician, a female diesel technician, a female carpenter? When you see the road crews on the side of the road working, how many females do you see in it? And if you do see a woman, they're holding the stop sign. We are missing a huge resource here by getting women involved in STEM careers. And so that's something that we're working very hard at UTI to try to change that. We host these events. Like I said, I was just in Phoenix last week for an event. We had over 100 girls. My colleague Jerry Elner is going to be in Austin, Texas tomorrow, where we're expecting 279 girls. That's how many is RSVP. They're busing in students from area high schools. And what we do is we want to expose these girls to what's available to them because they don't know. They don't know that they can do this stuff. There's been a big party going on for years, and the guys have been invited, but the girls have not. And so we're starting to see a change there. And one of the coolest things that we do, besides, we show them, we bring in panelists. These are successful women in STEM that they can ask questions to, that they, and like at the one I was at before, one of the little girls, she just asked, she said, "Hey, what did your parents say when you said you wanted to go into this career?" Because they're wondering what their parents are going to say, or what your friends say. Did you get made fun of? Was it hard for you? That kind of thing. And then at the end of the whole event, we have them fill out cards. And here's one, for instance, says, "I like watching cars go fast, but wow, today I couldn't stop smiling. I was intrigued with everything. I had no idea how I would start a job in this career. Now all I can think is to apply here after high school." It changed her life that day. And we're seeing more and more of that. So we're really excited about STEM careers for women. Right now, 27% of the STEM careers are filled by females. We have got to do a better job and get that number up. And that's something that UTI is trying to do to make that happen. We have scholarships and grants. We have over $15 million in scholarships and grants that we offer to students. Often I hear students, "Oh, I just can't afford to go to school." Well, you can't afford not to go to school. And there's grants and scholarships available for you out there. We have grants for housing, because we offer housing at all of our campus, with the exception of Bloomfield. But we offer housing. We offer the housing grants. We offer relocation grants. We do everything we can to help these students to get into school. So those are available. But what's sad is we don't give away half of this each year, because students will not fill out scholarships. So as educators, it's important to encourage them to, get these filled out so that they can advance their education. I pulled this up not because we're the only school in the country that can do this, because we have over 35 industry partners and hundreds of other partners, but these are our main ones, and this number continues to grow. But I show this to you because if you're not getting industry involved in your school, that's a big miss for you. You need to be getting industry involved. They want to help you. They're looking for future employees. So they want to come in and help you. So get industry involved. Plus, they have something you don't have: money. I know what your budgets are like. You don't have them. And so they can definitely help you in your schools, and they would gladly invite you to their facilities too, so you can see what's going on there. So just a great field trip opportunity. Or when you're having a career fair, and notice I didn't say college fair, I said a career fair, because that's what you should be holding. Don't do college fairs, do career fairs. That will include all of your students, but these guys will get involved in your career fairs if you'll just ask them. But it's a great resource for you, and it's an untapped resource. One of the things I'm most proud of is our tuition reimbursement incentive program, TRIP. we have over 9,000 employer locations that that offer incentives to for technicians to come to work for them. It's amazing what's out there available to them. You know, what we found, they won't fill out scholarships, but they definitely will participate in this program. Now, there is a catch. They're not just going to hand this money out to just anybody. They're looking for students that are hard workers, that are they have a professionalism about them. They come to school every day. You know, they have a great work ethic. That's what they're looking for. That's the kind of people they want to have work at their facilities. So this tuition reimbursement program is working. We have programs anywhere from $10,000 up to over $50,000. Ray Katina, there in New Jersey, $52,000 package that's available to students. They will pay off their student loans. They will give them a tool allowance. They will give them a sign-on bonus. They will give them a tenure bonus. I mean, they're just doing everything they can. I always like to say, all of these employers are fishing out of the same pond. They're all looking for technicians. So whoever has the best bait is going to get these guys. So that's why it's so important that that this tuition reimbursement program, and it's a way for your students to get their school paid for. Get trained in less than a year. That's our program. That's what we do. We most of our programs are about a year in length, give or take. We have programs as short as 7 months. We have programs as long as 24 months. But we offer 15 different STEM careers, and it's a very concentrated thing. We don't take summers off. We don't do spring breaks because the industry doesn't. So we try to emulate what the industry is doing so we can get these students prepared to be successful in their careers. We're very big on social media. Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. I even have my own Instagram account. You can feel free to follow me if you like. But we try to reach out to students and educators any way we possibly can through this through these different venues. And then finally, this is my contact information. This is my phone number. This is my email address. That's also my Instagram account there. So like I said, feel free to follow me and I'll follow you back. But I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you think about today's thing. I know one of the things that Bob asked you to do is to fill out a survey. Please fill that out and give us feedback on what you heard today. Plus, it's also a great way to get us connected with you, to get you involved get us involved in your school. The school year is almost half over, and so the spring gets really busy for us. So if you would love to have us come out, that's a great way, is to fill out that survey and we can make that happen for you. But I can't thank you enough for joining me today. I know you're busy. I know you have a lot of options, so I really appreciate it. But I learned a long time ago that it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how many possessions you have. What really counts is, do you have your own QR code? Well, there's my QR code right there. So feel free to take a picture of that. That way you can reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Good, bad, yeah, I don't care. I love to hear from people on what they think. If there's something that we can do, we just want to partner with you as educators. Anything we can to help you get through your school year, we're here to do it. And we don't charge for those things. We do workshops. I do professional development where I come into schools and help train your staff or do some type of STEM workshop for them. And if you catch me on a good day, I'll even bring lunch. I mean, we love to work with you any way possible. Kevin Giro is the regional missions director there in Bloomfield, and then we have Sean Salmon, our regional missions director in Exton, and they're both very eager to get into your school district to work with you any way possible. Some of you on here may have even had us before. So anyway, thank you so much for your time, and I wish you luck for the rest of your school year, and Merry Christmas.
Hey, thanks, Stephen. I appreciate it. A great job. We got a bunch of questions. Okay, let's start them in the order that they came in. First question has to do with financial aid. I think it gets back to what you were talking about, scholarships and such. Where does someone go if they want to know more about FAFSA and get FAFSA assistance from UTI, or a potential student going to UTI?
Yes, we are Title IV funded, so we do require that the student fills out a FAFSA to see if they qualify for financial aid. We have a FAFSA department that will aid in filling that out, because we know for some families that can be complicated. So we do offer that for our future students. You know, you can't just come to UTI, you have to be invited. And then when you are, then we put you through the whole thing. And part of it is you'll have your own financial aid advisor that will help you with all that, including making sure that the FAFSA gets filled out.
Yeah. So you've got people there that can do what they really need to do, just take advantage of the QR code, yours, and then you'll connect them into someone who can answer or start to answer some questions for them,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely. We also have an app called the UTI Go app that you can go into as well. And that you can get information there too.
Let's go to this next question, which I think I know the answer to, but let me, because I've done so much work with you. Does UTI offer any high school scholarships or high school internships for upcoming graduate students? And I'm thinking out loud, it might have to do with that summer program that you've got, Stephen.
Yes, we have the Summer Ignite program where we have students come in and they will take a course. It's no charge. And if they successfully complete the course, then they will get credit for that. So if they do come to UTI, they won't have to take that course again. So not only do they not have to put in the time, but they also don't have to put in the money for that too. So that's a great option.
Is
And we're doing some pilot stuff with internships right now, where it's in a pilot phase. And I think one of those pilots is in New Jersey. But we're trying to do it. What makes it difficult for us is we teach one course at a time. For 3 weeks, all you're going to do is brakes. For 3 weeks, all you're going to do is transmissions. So it's so concentrated that it's very difficult for us to do internships, but we are experimenting with that.
Well, speaking of that, the next question has to do with, and you may not be able to answer this right now on the call, but we could send you the information. You could send it the response. Does Cummins Engine Company in Bloomfield, Connecticut, participate with UTI? And I don't expect you to be able to answer that. Maybe, or maybe you do know the answer. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Cummins is a huge partner of ours. So now I don't know exactly if that company is, but I would guess that they are. But I can definitely do some research and get you that answer. But my gut is that yes, we are involved with them because of our great relationship with Cummins.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get that question to you, and then we'll be able to send that response back. The third one has to do with the new programs. You want to touch upon that a little bit, because someone asked, you're much more than just diesel now and automotive mechanics, right? UTI.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we're doing all. What we've done is we've just recently started our integrate. You know, well, 2 years ago we acquired MIAT, the Michigan Institute of Aeronautics Technology, and so we have we're now incorporating those into our other campuses, and so that's pretty exciting. So that now we're getting some of the MIAT programs. You know, like in that really hasn't happened yet in New Jersey. We're
Right.
still in New Jersey. We're offering auto, diesel, and welding. Although welding is part of the MIAT, but it's also part of our programs too. But there will be things coming for sure in the future.
Yeah.
And then of course at our Exton campus, we brought in robotics and automation. So we're pretty excited about that. So we not only have auto, diesel, and welding, but we also have robotics and automation. So it gives students in the Pennsylvania area an opportunity to do robotics. But yeah, we're pretty excited. We've moved aviation into some of our other campuses now. We have it now in Miramar, is a huge one down in Florida. But it's an opportunity to get these programs closer to students, so that they don't have to travel so far to get to them.
Right. That does get to the next question, which is that we usually get, but you got to split here between the two campuses that are participating, or at least this area. It has to do with housing. You mentioned it earlier. There are housing options available through UTI for those students that will need them, right?
Yes. Yeah, we offer housing at every campus except Bloomfield. Bloomfield is really more of a what we call the metro model or a
Right.
community campus type place. So we don't offer housing there, but we do at all of our other locations. And these housings are not dorms; they're apartments. All of our students, and it gives them. What's nice about it is the lease matches the program, so that's important. So they don't have any extra expense, and they have their own lease, so they're not responsible for other people on their uh, I guess other roommates. They're just
Right.
responsible for themselves.
Real quick, because we're running up to our time limit, but there is one more question from Tanya Haney, and I believe Tanya is in New Jersey, but I might be wrong. She has, and this is pretty specific, but you can probably give her some direction. She asks, what does a financial aid package look like for a student who would qualify for 100% of aid? What is, I know you can't answer specifically because I know they got to fill out the form, but generally speaking, can you help her out a little bit?
Well, I don't know if she's kind of getting around to what tuition is, maybe, and
Well, yeah, I guess it would be tuition, which
yeah.
we,
So my best answer there, and once again, I feel free if she'd give me more specifics of what she's looking for, I'd be glad to reach out to her. But our programs on, like I said, we have a 7-month program, we have a 22-month program. So they vary quite a bit in tuition. I mean, anywhere from $14,000 up to $50,000, depending upon how much education they want. When someone is, I guess, financial aid, every one of our students gets a 100% financial aid package. It's just a matter of how much of it is grants and scholarships and how much of it is out of the student's pocket. And so, but that's where the trip employers come in because they will pay off that excess amount, those extra those extra loans that they had to take out, so that they could potentially go free. But our programs, they vary so much because all the different programs. Probably our average tuition, if you put all our programs in together, would be about probably 34 or 35,000, somewhere in there.
yeah, and so when you combine the grants, which is important because they don't pay back the grants if they're eligible, and there's an income eligibility which FAFSA determines or can give us some direction. Then you look at the internal scholarships at UTI, and then you got to Imagine America. Then you bridge the balance of that with student loan, a student loan. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
And the other thing too, to realize those numbers I threw out, that also includes their books, that includes their tools, that includes their uniforms. So that's all encompassed into that. And also have to remember too that even though our programs are average a year in length, they will actually run through 2 FAFSA periods. So they could actually qualify for more financial aid because the way our programs are run. So that's a huge plus.
Nice job, Stephen. We really appreciate it. Good questions. Thank you very much, participants. And we will make sure that Stephen gets those and he can follow up in specific correspondence with the Bloomfield, whether that Common Engine, Bloomfield, whether talk a little bit about the internship summer program that you've got, which I think answers that question, and maybe just a little bit more for our friends in New Jersey on the financial aid. Let me go into closing so we don't keep these people any longer than we have to. Just so you know, administratively, the foundation has recorded this session and will be forwarding this recording to all the registrants that participate. There's also going to be, as Stephen said, a follow-up survey. We really encourage you to take advantage of that survey, and we send those responses directly back to Stephen and our other responses. We really look forward to getting that feedback. But before we close, I just want to make sure that we thank all the education participants that took their time out. Stephen mentioned it. We know you've got a number of different competing demands on your time, and we really appreciate you carving out a little bit of time, hearing a little bit about STEM careers, hearing a little bit about UTI and the campuses, et cetera, and the programs. We're very excited about that. We value very much what Stephen does and what UTI does. We also want to mention that we have a new program that we have here at Imagine America, that if you need to have a certificate of completion, we offer that. to anyone that wants it. You simply have to contact myself or Stephen and or Lauren Cunningham, who is with the Imagine America Foundation, if that helps you with your internal time allocations within your school district. Contact us, please. On behalf of the Imagine America Foundation, we want to thank Stephen for an outstanding presentation and encourage you to contact him directly. Any questions related to this presentation. On behalf of myself, Lauren Cunningham, Stephen Coyle, we want to thank you and hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.